Digital media and digital ministry is growing and growing and growing, and there are incredible opportunities all over the internet and online world today to share the gospel. And my guest today, Evan DiDio, is going to talk to us about how to do exactly that and some of the pitfalls we can avoid when getting online. Evan, thank you for joining us.
Oh man, I'm so excited to be here.
You've been doing a lot with Encounter Today. That's your ministry, you're in your father's ministry, your family ministry.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that, what you're up to, and what you have going on there.
Yeah, so that started late 2019. My dad had a word from God. God said, what would church look like if it was entirely online? And it was a powerful moment. And of course, that's late 2019, probably November, not knowing that months later, the world would be shut down, we'd have to do church online. So we were prepared for that, and we were kind of a place where churches went because their church was shut down and they didn't know how to live stream, which is really sad that people didn't even know how to live stream, they didn't know how to work a camera. In this day and age, there's no excuses. You cannot say, I don't know how to work a camera anymore, or that's just not for me. Like this setup here, anyone can do this, right? This is an amazing setup, high quality audio, video, even if it is an Apple. Sorry, Apple users, I'm an Android guy. But yeah, anyone can do this. There's no excuses anymore. And so Encounter Today has just kind of it's become an interview program. That's really been big, but also our church live streams on it. And we're very deliberate about our live streams and thinking about after the stream, because most churches don't do that.
Now, you've got you're helping churches do that as well, and
Yes,
we want to dive into that a little bit. But maybe before that, what does it look like? I mean, what's a week look like for you with the church and your media ministry and everything you're doing with the church?
Yeah, so we'll have between 1 to 5 interviews a week. It varies between that. Every Saturday we have our church, so that's this live stream every Saturday night. And we love Saturday night church. It's been a lot of fun. Our media team is actually our youth group, and so that's a ton of fun. All of our youth are running cameras, and people come in, they're like, there's no way that your youth group is running this live stream. And when you look at it, it's kind of been an artistic thing. I love the way the live stream looks. And it's good training ground for these guys. And they get to, by the way, if your media team is not on your youth group, I'd highly recommend it.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Vice versa, scratch that, reverse it. If your youth group's not on your media team, because it gives them something to do that gets tactical results, and they really feel like they're part of something, and it really connects them to the ministry. So that's a big deal. We've got about 15 to 20 people on our media team, and we cycle them through. Drew, who's back there behind the scenes kind of helping organize some things right now, he does a lot of the editing, and I do a lot of the editing as well. We're expanding our team. And yeah, so I do a lot of communication with people as well.
So are these staff members, or are they people volunteering from the church, or kind of a mix of both?
So the entire media team is completely volunteer. Even I volunteer on the media team. I am the media director, but I don't get paid to run the media team or anything. And I love that because that's just my due diligence.
Yeah,
I guess you could say.
That's your role.
And so our whole media team just volunteers and works really hard, and it shows.
Wow, praise God, and it does. And my wife and I, our family, we watch a lot of what you guys have going on. Every week we're watching something, so we're grateful for that. So tell us, just what's the case? Not the business case, but what's the biblical case? That's what word I was looking for. The biblical case for having a very intentional focus about an online portion of a church's ministry. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I've heard some people compare when Jesus dipped down and wrote something in the sand. That was a form of media, and what he wrote down, of course we don't know what he wrote, but it obviously changed some things. Then you see, and I'm thinking of Catholic Church history now, where at first the stained glass window, purpose of the stained glass window was to face outward to share the gospel. So anyone walking by the church, even if they didn't come in the church, they saw the stained glass and they saw the redemptive story, the redemptive timeline. Over time that eventually turned inward, and as the church really loved the beauty of the stained glass. And I think if a church isn't in media, and if they're just kind of focusing on what's in their house and not focusing on the people that are walking by, I think we're neglecting a huge audience. There are more than 2.6 billion monthly active users on YouTube alone right now, monthly. And those are the people that are logged in, not counting the people that don't have an account. And these are people that are searching, why should I not commit suicide?
Yeah.
There are genuine questions that are being asked on YouTube that you need to answer. Your ministry, you need to be the answer to their search query in YouTube, in Google. Google owns YouTube, by the way. And they're both the top two largest search engines.
Search engine, yeah.
So we need to, as a church, we need to be the ones answering questions If we're not, then we are not obeying the evangelistic call that Jesus gave us in Mark 16.
Wow. Well, that's well said. And so, now, what do you think is sort of a baseline? What's the minimum a church should be doing? And obviously, they can grow and they can do YouTube Shorts and can do all kinds of stuff like that. But what do you think is sort of a good place to start if they're not really there yet?
Yeah. Well, churches are media gold mines, right? You have content every single week that you could be using. So there's no reason someone shouldn't have a smartphone and maybe a cheap wireless microphone attached to the pastor on the front row getting some vertical content. Think about whenever he says something that's quick, to the point, and answers a specific question, take that, turn it into a vertical video, and release it. If you don't have a setup for streaming your services, that's okay, record them. I've got a church friend that at their church, they don't have great internet, and so they record their services and they premiere them on YouTube the next week. It's a great way to do it, and they're seeing results. They're starting to grow. So get a setup. I recommend recording messages. Get a tight angle of your pastor. No one wants to see a wide angle. And get somebody manning it. If you've got a camera angle, I'm getting very tactile here, so hang with me. If you've got a tight angle or even a wide angle and he walks out of frame, it shows to the audience that you don't actually care about them. There are more people online than there are in your church, and if someone were to walk into your church, would you smile at them? Would you greet them? Would you say, hello, my name is Evan, how are you today? What's your name? Here's your seat, by the way. We got you a special seat. As a visitor, we want to make sure we take care of you. Do you need any water? Is there anything we can do for you? Here are the restroom. We treat our in-person visitors so well. Our online visitors need the same kind of treatment. So every service we have someone watching the comments. We only stream on YouTube. We don't stream on multiple platforms because that divides your audience. And we watch the comments, and if there are prayer requests, we pray with them. Like, there's real people in the comments. Our dream team, our leadership team are in the comments, and that's where you need to start. Treat every comment with the amount of respect you treat a new visitor to your church.
I like that. I mean, it's a pretty low barrier to entry. I mean, it's not even costing anything.
It's
really.
Free.
And so let's say a church they're live streaming every week, but so far they're just doing the live stream, not doing anything with it. Maybe they separate out the message and the worship, and maybe they repost the message. But what are some other things they can do to go to the next level?
So I'd actually not recommend doing that.
Okay.
If you're reposting the message, you're missing out on some virality. And by virality, don't get me wrong, I don't mean millions of views. I mean the trajectory of your video when it's live is much better while it's live than if you repost it. So let's say you go live, right? You got 20 people watching, and I'm talking your language, maybe you're used to 20, 30 people watching live, maybe even less. Those are 20 to 30 people that are watching live, and minutes matter most on YouTube, right? So while they're on, that watch time is counted toward you. Now, if you repost the message, what does that do? That creates another separate entity, a separate video, that core audience is now not going to watch. So what you did was you started over, basically, with a completely new audience that doesn't even know who you are. And YouTube's recognizing that your regular viewers aren't watching that new video, and so they're saying, well, this channel must not be worth recommending to more people. So by doing that, you're really hurting yourself. So what we do is we go live on Saturday nights with our message. Now, we don't stream our worship for a multiplicity of reasons, right? I'm not good at audio yet. We're working on that. Making sure it sounds good. I want to make sure the quality is great for our online users, but the quality of content is there. And so we have a 10-minute countdown that's generic. We're not strict. We're not like, okay, we have to start the message now. If the worship keeps going, it keeps going. But we trim everything out in YouTube after the fact.
Oh, okay.
Most people don't know that you can actually trim a video in the YouTube studio. You go to the video, go to the content tab, go to the video, go to the editor section, and if it says trim and cut, you click trim and cut. And then if it says save in the top right corner, that means you're good to go. If it says save as new, then it's just going to duplicate the video, and we've already talked about that's not a good idea.
So could a church stream the worship and then cut that out, or is that too much to cut out?
Yes. So if we've done that before, we cut out all the praise and worship. And here's the reason why. Let's break YouTube down to its core basics, right? YouTube is a search engine owned by Google, the largest search engine. YouTube's the second. Whenever you're on YouTube, what are you doing? You're probably either looking at your subscriptions or searching how to fix my dishwasher, right? Yeah. How to fix my leaky Samsung dishwasher. You're getting very specific. Now imagine the guy says, all right, in this video I'm going to share with you how to fix my leaky Samsung dishwasher, but first I'm going to sing you 3 songs. It's like, well, that's not what you're there for. Right. You're either going to fast forward or you're going to leave the video. most of the people you need to reach don't care about your praise and worship. They're not even ready for praise and worship yet. They need to hear the content and the core message, and your praise and worship most likely isn't part of that. I know some ministries that that rule does not apply to.
Right.
So yes, I highly recommend cutting it out. You also run into copyright issues. So there's no reason your video should get a copyright strike. Just get that message out there, answer specific questions, and you'll see results.
Wonderful. Well, now, before we end here, I want to make sure we talk about censorship. That's something that I've seen you talk about. You and I've talked about it. Give us the quick rundown on censorship and maybe some of the things that we can do, some best practices.
Yeah, so I know you guys don't hold back. So I hope that this is going to be helpful. And I know what it's like. We've been hit before. Some of our videos, we did an interview with Mario Murillo. We actually released it on, I'm actually not going to say the date. Some of you may know the date that I'm talking about. A couple years ago when something happened in our country's capital. And we were live with Mario Murillo at that time discussing what was happening. And of course, all of it was factual. We weren't throwing any crazy theories out there. And they removed the video entirely and gave our channel a strike, like they hit it. And just because we use certain words like election integrity. So what we found out is you have to be careful what you say. So we're not going to dilute the gospel. Okay, so that's an obvious. We're not going to say, well, we can't talk about certain issues because they won't let us and we'll get censored. So we might as well just share the gospel. No, you can do both. You can live this thing. So Jesus said to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. So what does that mean? We need to be careful about what words we're using. My dad actually recently released a blog about censorship and words you need to watch out for, because it's a comprehensive list too. Like there's 20 to 50 words. I don't remember how many it is.
Yeah.
Well, like election integrity, I'm not even going
to
finish
saying it.
The words,
we'll put a link in the show notes so you can grab it.
Yeah, and so those words, if you say that kind of shoots off a red flag, and you don't want to do that. So replace those words with something else.
Yeah, so they know what you're talking about, but you can still give the core message with the clarity and all that as well, but it's just sort of avoid the trigger.
Yeah, so George Orwell's 1984, many people know that novel. He described and I'm forgetting the words now, but the police force was the peace force, and they were not peaceful at all, right? And so you replace certain words. Joseph Z over there describes the alphabet mafia, and some of you know what I'm referring to. And there's different things you can do. Be creative with it. Your audience will end up loving it. And it's just a fun thing.
Good crack a smile out of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now you help churches as well. So tell us a little bit about that part of the business before we close here.
Yeah. So of course,
ministry and business. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm very limited as to what I can do, but I try to come in and share this information. Literally, most of what I've shared with you is a bombshell on most churches' media strategy, because it kind of shifts what they're used to, and I hope that it did for you as well. Honestly, if we were to have a day session, this is most of the content we would be discussing, and of course there would be a lot more questions around this, but I do coaching. I'm developing a core community where for a certain amount a month you get access to this community. We do monthly trainings, so be watching out for that. And you can follow my Instagram account. I'm giving out free content. I'm starting a podcast talking about this with people like Paul Duvall, who runs the It's Supernatural YouTube channels. He's a YouTube genius. He's got millions of subscribers. And others. I've got a lot of friends in this space, and so we're going to be bringing you through DiDio Media a lot of valuable content.
We're down here at NRB 2024, National Religious Broadcasting Conference, and it's just been incredible to see all the different people down here. So are there any highlights that you would share? I know you did 30 interviews down here, which is incredible.
So today we actually got Kevin Sorbo, which was amazing. So we got to spend a little time with Kevin Sorbo, Mario Murillo, a general in the faith. Now I'm blanking on some of the names, but we got some amazing people, even that we've never met before, which is what's cool about a convention like this.
So were some of the themes that came up in those interviews or anything that sticks out to you?
So yeah, you can see a difference between people who are prepared for something like that and who aren't. So like some people do have some like media people that are with them, or they're prepared with media themselves, taking pictures, that kind of thing. And myself, I've kind of had to get out of the mindset of we're just in the flow, and while you do need a flow, I think being prepared for things like that is cool, so you can really see that difference.
Right on. Awesome. So where can people get in touch with you and get more from what you're working on?
Yeah, so Instagram at Evan DiDio, DiDio is going to be the best place to go. DM me, let me know you were here, and we'll have a quick chat. I love to respond to DMs on Instagram, and it's a great place to get free content. I'm releasing 60-second videos answering specific questions like we discussed, and hopefully it'll help you.
Right on. Well, thank you so much, Evan. It's great to have you on.
Oh, man, thank you. It was an honor.
Appreciate it. God bless.
God bless.